Hello, and welcome to this first film in my series entitled Conducting Fundamentals. Now, I'm assuming that you have some interest in conducting. If not, you probably wouldn't have watched even this far. Perhaps you're thinking about the possibility of conducting. Perhaps you are already a conducting student. Or perhaps you have a place on a course and you're going to become a conducting student soon. Perhaps you have some conducting experience already and want to come back to some basics and just look at some of those things again. Well, whatever your position, whatever your interest, I'm very pleased you're watching and I hope that I can help you a little bit. But let me just start off by asking you a question. What do you think someone needs to be a good conductor? What aptitudes, what skills, what abilities, what techniques, if you like, does someone need to be a good conductor? It might be a good idea to switch off this video now, just pause it and make yourself a little list of anything that occurs to you that is really important about someone being a conductor. And then come back and we'll see how your list compares to mine. See you in a moment. Okay, so welcome back. Hope you've got your list. Here's mine. I don't for a moment claim that it is the last word on the subject, but it is a series of 5 categories which I think, for me, pretty much sum up the important things about being a conductor. Number 1, musicality. Number 2, confidence. Number 3, technique. Number 4, concentration. And number 5, flexibility. These are, by the way, not in any hierarchical order. A conductor needs to be somebody who is a rounded person, and somebody who is terribly good in one area but very weak in another area will have problems. You need to be a real all-rounder, good in a whole variety of spheres. Let me break down these 5 things a little bit and explain what I mean when I say these general categories. So, firstly, musicality. What I mean by that is a passionate belief in and a deep understanding of the music which you are going to conduct, which leads to a clear vision of how you want that music to sound. Number 2, confidence. Passionate belief, but this time that you yourself will be able to convey the vision you have of the music to and through the musicians who are in front of you. Please note, important footnote, this self-confidence is not at all the same as arrogance. Number 3, technique. The need for a good and clear conducting technique to enable the musicality and the confidence to work in real time with the musicians out to your audience. I don't believe that people are born with good conducting technique. It has to be acquired through hard work. But good conducting technique is essential in achieving your goals. Fourthly, concentration. The ability to hold in your mind a piece of music for its duration, so that when you begin the piece in bar number 1, you already have the final bars in mind. And finally, number 5, flexibility. The ability to adapt diplomatically and immediately to new situations. Dealing, for example, with things going wrong in concerts and or rehearsals. Dealing with new halls and acoustics that you're performing in. Dealing with difficult people, etc., etc. In these films, the main thing I can help with, I hope, is with conducting technique. Although I will also suggest things relating to those other areas, you will see that there's an awful lot that I don't cover here. And to be perfectly honest, I just don't think you can address in a useful manner in this sort of video format. If you're really serious about wanting to learn conducting, this could be a very useful start for you, but there are a lot of other things which you need to do. You will need to buy books, you will need to go on courses, perhaps enter competitions, buy scores, spend countless hours working on learning those scores, set up an orchestra, and many other things besides. It's not for the faint-hearted. It will take many, many hours, but believe me, it is very, very worthwhile. So, finally, let me just go through a little list of some of the things I intend covering in this series of films. Next, I'll be looking at what I see as the need to use a baton, and then how to choose one for yourself. I'll then be looking at conducting posture and movement, and indeed how to hold and basically use a baton. I'll be looking at basic time beating patterns, 2 in a bar, 3, 4, 1, 6, 5, possibly others. I'll also look at subdividing those patterns. I'll look at the use of the other hand. I say that because I know some very fine left-handed conductors who of course will use their right hand in the same way as a right-handed conductor will use their left hand. I'll also look at how to use those patterns that we've talked about for different moods of music, so non-espressivo music, staccato music, legato music, etc., etc. I'll also talk a little bit about learning scores, about concentration, about the psychology of conducting, how to get your mind into the right sort of headspace for conducting. These and some other things as well. In terms of books, let me just recommend you one. Max Rudolph's The Grammar of Conducting. As I said earlier, the main thing I can look at in these videos is technique. And Max Rudolph's book is, I think, the best and only really comprehensive book on conducting technique. Now, if you buy a recent version, I think there were about 3 editions, it's quite expensive, but you can get the original one from around about 1950, or at least the early 1950s, second-hand, really rather cheap if you search around on the internet or in some second-hand bookshops. I would strongly recommend you try and get a copy of that book, and I will at times make some reference to that and possibly show you some things from that book which I myself have found very useful and I strongly recommend. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.